I genuinely believe program hopping was the one mistake that cost me approximately 2 to 3 years of gains. Because look at this picture. This was in 2022 and this picture is from 2024. I look the exact same. Exact same. And this is what happens when you change your workouts every few weeks. And the thing is, during this time of 2022 to 2024, I started experimenting, quote unquote. I started to focus on other things in life and I told myself that I'm experimenting to find what works for me and all this BS, right? I was like, I'm gonna use this phase where I'm focused on other things to figure out what really works for me, what workout programs work for me, and I'm gonna run them eventually, consistently, right? And so let me just experiment by changing things every few weeks as if that's a way to experiment. And keep in mind, I was a novice. I was a beginner during this time, even after making that transformation, because I was still making gains workout to workout. Yes, I was still getting stronger workout to workout. I was still progressing workout to workout. And I was like, oh, I need to change stuff up to find out what works for me. That was stupid. Now, this experimentation wasn't really like a scientific experiment. It was more so like, I'd watch a certain YouTuber, right? Let's take Alex Leonidas, and I'd watch him religiously for a few weeks. And because most of my fitness information was coming from him, I started to think that his view on training, his way of working out, concurrent periodization was actually the only thing that I need. It's the only training style that actually works. So therefore, I try to experiment with that, right? However, I do that for about 3 to 4 weeks. That honeymoon phase would end, and then I'd be like, oh, well, this is boring. Let me go on to something else, right? And so I start to watch another YouTuber, like for example, Bald Omni-Man, and I'd watch him for a few weeks and I'd start watching him more and more and more, and therefore I'd be like, his training style is the best. Therefore I try to adopt that, and I do that for 3 to 4 weeks. Then again, the honeymoon phase would be over, and I'd repeat that cycle again and again and again and again, basically for the next 2 years. But the thing is, there were a couple of factors that were leading to me acting like this, right? Which I want to break down right now. Because if I had dismantled these, right, then I don't think I would have program hopped at all, and therefore I would have been so much more jacked by now, like insanely jacked. Because in total, it's been almost 4 years. Since 2022. The first one is looking for the best workout, looking for the perfect workout. The underlying desire behind me program hopping was trying to get results as fast as possible, trying to build muscle as fast as possible and achieve my dream physique as fast as possible. And so I would look for the absolute best program to be able to do so. I wanted the workout program that is the best workout for getting me to my destination as fast as possible. Doesn't matter if I enjoy it, doesn't matter if I can stick to it. What matters is that that workout program is the one thing I need. Is the one program I need. And so when I hear someone on YouTube Fitness talk about their training style, and I listen over and over and over again, and that made me think like, this is how I get results the fastest. Therefore, I would run their programs, run their training style for a little bit. But then again, I start listening to someone else, and I start to think that their way of training is the best, right? And so I switch, and I keep switching between different YouTubers, different people who talk about fitness, right? Different training styles, I just keep switching. And I never really stick to something. Because in my head, I was like, there has to be a best workout. And that best workout is with one of these people talking about fitness. Like, I thought that there was this magic workout split, this magic workout program, these magic exercises that were gonna get me my dream physique as fast as possible. And so genuinely, I switched from push-pull legs, actually not legs, I never trained legs that seriously, but I switched from like push-pull legs, push-pull, to upper-lower, to full body, to endurance calisthenics, so high rep calisthenics, right? To down workouts, to calisthenic circuits, to burpees, and I switched my workouts so freaking much because I was consuming from so many people, right? Thinking that one of these guys has to have the best workout program. But the irony is that to get the fastest results, right, there is no workout program. You just need to stick to something that adheres to the principles for long enough, right? Get stronger, progressively overload while training close to failure. That is the one thing that will get you the fastest results. And the thing is, are there better workouts out there than the one you might be doing right now, than the one I'm doing right now? Probably yes, right? Probably. But can you generalize it and say, this alone is the best workout? There is no better workout. You can't do that. Because think about it. If there's an influencer talking about how training 6 days a week is the absolute best split, right? Push-pull legs, push-pull legs. And he's like, no other split works. 3 times a week is trash. 4 times a week is not enough. 5 times a week is stupid. 6 times a week is where it's at. Okay, what if you're a father who works 50 hours a week and has 3 children that you need to take care of? Is training 6 days a week still good for you? Probably not. Probably training 3 days a week is better, right? Because it gives you more time for recovery because you have so many other things going on. Whereas if you take someone like me, right, who's like 20 years old, I can't train 6 days a week, right? Therefore, for me, training 6 days a week might be something I would prefer over training 3 days a week because I can recover and I can also go to the gym every single day for an hour and a half, right? And so for me, training 6 days a week is probably good. But for you, training 2 to 3 times a week, training hard, full body, upper, lower, whatever it may be, maybe that is best for you because you can actually stick to it. And so there is no best workout. What matters is, can you stick to this workout program? Can you stick to these exercises for the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? If that is a yes, then that is the best program for you. And so the main thing is to find a workout that you enjoy, find a workout program that you enjoy, and then just stick to it for long enough. That is the best workout program. And when I drilled this into my head, I was like, I don't need to program hop anymore. I don't need to, because there is no best workout program. It just doesn't exist. And by the way, yes, you will change the exercise that you do. You will tweak your workout programs a little bit, right? That's fine. That's a part of the process. That is you learning through action and then changing to improve your action, right? But that comes from actually doing the workouts and making adjustments based off of real life data, not something that you saw on YouTube or Instagram. And speaking of YouTube and Instagram, the second thing is overconsumption of content. Listen, when I first transformed my physique from this to this, right? I was a teenager who had a lot of time on his hands. This was age 15 to 16. So I had a lot of time on my hands. And I spent most of that time watching YouTube fitness for hours every single day. Hours. Because I was so obsessed with fitness, right? And I was so into it, and I was so interested in it that I was like, let me watch whatever videos I can on this specific topic and fitness that I'm interested in, right? So I would just consume, watch, right? I would just like watch videos and read books, and I was so invested into this that I was gaining all this information in my head, right? But then I needed some place to actually act upon that information. And obviously that was during my workouts. So that led to me changing my workouts every single few weeks, right? Because I wanted to implement the information that I was learning. And the thing is, most of that information was actually for advanced lifters, for lifters who were way past where I was, right? But I didn't understand that. I didn't have the discernment to actually realize that at the time. And so I would just soak up that information and just try to implement that. And that would lead me to constantly switching up my workouts. And on top of that, because I was consuming so much advanced lifter content, that would cause me to just bury the basics, which is what actually gets results. And another thing is that I would get such severe paralysis. And the thing is, I get such severe paralysis by looking at all of these different workouts and all these different programs and 3-week waves and undulating and concurrent, like all these different periodization methods. Like I'd get so confused looking at all of these, right? And that would just stop me from, and that would just make me think I don't even know what working out is. That is how bad it got because of all the content I was consuming. And so the solution to all of this is pretty simple. Just don't consume much. That's just how it is. Because the thing is, what gets results over time is you getting stronger at a few specific exercises over time. That is what gets results. Not watching content, not consuming content. What gets results is focusing on the basics for a long enough amount of time and getting better at them. That is it. And so what's better is to consume on a need basis, not a want basis. You might have a bunch of free time, right? And so instead of watching YouTube fitness because you want to, go and watch something else. Go learn about gardening or something like that. Go try to upskill yourself for your job. Like, go do something else, right? Spend that time somewhere else instead of actually watching more fitness content, because that is going to tempt you so bad to actually changing a workout program again, even though it's the 67th time. Yes, I said that on purpose. Even though it's the 60th time where you've told yourself, I'm not going to change my program. And so consume when you need it. If you want to know about Nordic ham curls, then go ahead and consume. Like for example, I wanted to know more about ATG, right? I think that God willing, this will be the key to healing my shoulder, to fixing my rotator cuff tear, right? So I was consuming a lot of stuff on ATG, right? But all of that was with a purpose because I wanted to implement that. I went and consumed because I needed that information, not because I wanted that information. And even nowadays, I don't consume much fitness content. I just don't. There's a few fitness content creators I watch, and that's about it. And if you really want to watch fitness, just go and watch some fitness vlogs. Just do that. I like watching Luke Hopkins, Nick Bear. Those two I really enjoy watching. And the third and final thing is undermining the basics. If there's one thing I could do to my younger self who was in this position where he was program hopping, I'd probably just like slap him and be like, bro, just all you need to do is focus on the basics. Because I would think that my workouts need to have something fancy to achieve my dream physique, right? I need to have like this very specific type of progression with these very specific number of sets, with this very specific exercise done a very specific number of times throughout the week. And I need that along with like 3-week waves and concurrent periodization and a bit of undulating in there as well, and a bit of like down workouts to be able to achieve my dream physique. Like, no, bro, you don't need any of that. I was like, it cannot be as simple as focusing on and getting stronger at a few time-tested movements that thousands and thousands of people have used to transform their physiques, and these movements that have built some of the absolute best physiques in the bronze era, silver era, golden era of bodybuilding. And these physiques are still magnificent to this day. I was like, it can't be as simple as that, right? And the whole reason is that the basics are just not too cool to sell. Man, the power went out in between. Well, what I was saying is that the basics are not cool. Therefore, they don't sell. You can't promote the basics and get as much money or get as many views as you would if you were to do the freaking squat with the bicep curl and like the freaking overhead press back. That's not what. But the thing is, every physique you see in this picture was built off of the basics. Every single physique, right? And the basic movements, a horizontal push, a horizontal pull, a vertical push, a vertical pull, a squat, a hinge, a bicep curl, a tricep extension of some sort, right? Maybe something for the shoulders like a lateral raise or a rear delt fly. Something for abs like basic movements, nothing too fancy. Yet what we see pushed on the internet, right, by so many other people who also build their physiques off of the basics is fancy stuff, fancy exercises that make absolutely no sense. And the thing is, I didn't know much in my very first year, so sticking to these basics is what got me this result. I didn't even track my calories. I did not even check my weight because I didn't have a weighing scale. I just focused on training hard, eating clean, and sleeping enough. That's it. The absolute basics, right? And I trained hard with the basic calisthenic movements, and it led to this transformation. So what I'm doing now is simple ATG workouts, right? Focusing on simple movement, the ATG press, the ATG style dumbbell bench press, rows, assisted pull-ups, some shoulder work, right? Eventually you're gonna add in arm work as well, like basic stuff. And my whole focus is to get stronger at them and achieve certain standards that I have set for myself that I wanna get to with these movements. That is it, that's all I'm focused on. Nothing too fancy, just the basics, and I'm pretty darn sure it's gonna work, God willing, it will work. So please, stop program hopping. It took me 2 years to learn this lesson. I hope that this benefited you, and I hope that you start program hopping if you were doing so before. That being said, I'll catch you in the next video, God willing. Peace.